So right this minute they're pulling out the sail. I'm worried it might fly away. Oh.
I'm Andy.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Jack.
And together we're working on restoring our sailing yacht.
Some of you might think we're crazy taking on the challenge of restoring this boat and creating a life less ordinary.
And we're sure there will be blood, sweat and tears, but it'll all be worth it when we embark on our epic adventure around the world.
Right, hi everybody. So, as you're aware, we've taken on this enormous steel boat, and you've seen some bits and pieces of us doing the show round and all of that stuff, outside and inside of when we actually got the boat. We're now kind of couple of weeks in, and we've already started doing a few little jobs. But what we thought we'd do today is a little. Does my hair look alright? My hair looks stupid. Yeah, it's fine. I don't really care.
What bedhead?
Yeah. So we're going to just make a basic list of the priority that things need to be done in. This boat's been ashore for a long time. There was a lot of water in the bilge. There was a lot of water in the grey water tank, which was grim, which we've been cleaning out.
Boats are meant to be waterproof.
And we've done some bits and pieces, but what we thought we'd do today, which we've been meaning to do for a while, is get stuck in and prioritise a list of things that need doing. So, this is very much on the fly, and we haven't prepped this, but I think that's kind of valid, because what we don't want to do is kind of pre-plan our planning, if you know what I mean.
Thank you.
That's all right. Priorities. So, priority number one is get the water that's inside out.
Yeah, I feel like you're going off on a tangent.
Right. Okay.
So, rigging, mast down, replace chain plates.
Yeah. Put metalwork as a category then. You put that as a. So metalwork.
We need to do.
Why didn't we just write down everything we need to do and then just talk about them later?
Yeah. Okay, so we stopped for a little bit of lunch, and we're starting to get a kind of a picture together of the project plan. And let me just run through what it is we're going to do. So, is that autofocus? So we have on here our urgent preventative list, which involves empty the bilge and clean the bilge, get the water out basically. Then we need to look at treating the rust spots on the outside of the boat, get the boat moved, get the mast down, get the boat covered with a tarpaulin, and that's kind of just to kind of the urgent get it done now kind of thing. Following that, we're then going to do this lot. Starting at the front of the boat, the bowsprit, we're going to grind it back to the bare metal and assess it for whether we're going to repair it or just cut it off and put a new bowsprit on. The foredeck, we're going to do what we call UPMT, Urgent Preventative Metal Treatment. So basically, grinding back the rust spots, treating them with a rust killer and painting them with something just to make sure they don't get any worse. Remove all the windlasses, the anchor windlass, replace the chain plate, remove the push pit because that's bent and that needs straightening out. Moving back to the side decks, there's not a lot to do there, just some urgent preventative metal treatment. Gunnels and scuppers, remove the stanchion rails and treat the areas of rust. The coach roof, again, treat the little rust spots. We've got to do the hatches, the vents, the life raft bracket, the compass fitting. We've got to get the mast down and the chain plates fixed and around the port lights. Then in the pilot house, remove the wooden panelling inside so that we can remove the hatches, and then remove the windows in the port light in the pilot house so that we can board them up, so that we can work on the metalwork. But essentially it's the same sort of thing, urgent preventative metal treatment in the interim just to make sure it doesn't get any worse. In the cockpit, lots more metal treatment, take off all the winches, take off the push pit, take out the steering binnacle and steering system. There's a couple of areas there that I actually need to cut out and weld some new steel in, only small bits, and make a new lid for the gas locker. On the transom and sugar scoop, some more metal treatment. We're going to put a temporary deck on the sugar scoop because it's made of wood and it's soaking wet and rotten, and that's where the water is getting in mostly, is off the sugar scoop. And there's some cutting and welding to do there, not a lot, again, just a little bit. On the freeboard, the sides of the boat, more metal treatment. There's actually nothing really much to do there. There's one tiny little spot on the port side and a tiny little bit on the starboard side. There's quite a bit to do in the anchor locker, which that really should be on that bit, not below the waterline. And again, below the waterline, some metal treatment. Have a look at the keel base, clean that up, get some rust treatment on there to stop it getting worse. Get the anchor locker fixed up, which will need cutting and welding. But that actually, to be dead honest, the anchor locker is above the waterline, not below. And then moving over this side, we then categorised it as comfort, which is not a priority, hence nothing in the list. Rudder and steering system, well, we've touched on that. I'm going to take off the steering binnacle and we're going to start disassembling the entire rudder and steering system, service the whole steering system front to back, remove the rudder completely to get that serviced and repainted. Same with the keel, expose the lifting mechanism, remove the keel, shot blast the keel box, shot blast the keel itself, and replace all the cabling system. Sails are in good nick, we don't need to look at them till next year. Plumbing is manky and horrible, so we'll replace it front to back, but we're not going to look at that until next year. And electrics, again, some of it will have to be done as we move along because of the replacing bits of taking out a piece of wood, and we may as well replace some electrics while we're back there. But we've got to research the regulations for electrics, which is all available online. New switch panels, new mast electrics, new running lights and lights outside, and once the mast is down, inspect it top to bottom and replace any sheaves and what have you as necessary. So what we're doing today is, right at the very beginning, empty the bilge and clean the bilge. Yay. Which is why all the footage from today is all about emptying disgusting dirty water out of the bilge. And what this means is that we can, this is going to be very fluid, this whole board here, and it's going to change a lot as we go along, but this just gives us a picture of, right, how are we going to project manage this, how are we going to progress with it.
Obviously we're going to add lots more to it.
Oh yeah, there'll be lots more detail going.
Run out post-it notes. Yeah,
what we've discovered in doing this, there aren't enough post-it notes in the world to do this job.
It's scary to lean back.
So the floor panel's up.
So the reason we couldn't get it up
is because somebody tried to cut along there with a multi-tool and hadn't cut all the way through. That's not a problem, so that's come up now. But look at the quality of the steel underneath the tank. So there's still a bit of water in the keel box, but the steelwork is in exceptional condition.
Considering.
Yeah. So we need to get the bilge pump down there a bit. So that's good. Again, there's no reason to suspect that everywhere that we expose the hull, the steel's in really good nick. So there are going to be places where we physically can't expose the hull to inspect the steel. But there's no logical reason, looking at the quality of the hull and the condition it's in, to suspect that those more inaccessible areas are in any worse state than this area. So I'm becoming more and more confident as we go along that there are some isolated areas outside that need doing, obviously, and at the foot in the chain locker and the lazarette. But everywhere in between seems to be really good.
There is rust in the hole in the underside.
Yeah, there's rust at the back of the transom.
Yeah, we know that that's
where the sugar
that's a
scoop.
problem
The sugar
area.
scoop was added on afterwards, and it topped with a piece of plywood. So the plywood's rotted. So the sugar scoop has been full of water and has rotted around the bottom of the transom. Again, it's an easy fix. It's just plate metal and only steel in a welder at the end of the day. The difficulty with restoring a steel boat like this is unless you strip the whole interior, some of the bits of work that you may need to do are pretty inaccessible. And what I'm becoming more and more confident about as we go along is that the inaccessible bits there's no reason to suspect that they'll be in really bad condition.
However,
we're obviously going to try and expose everything that we can physically get to and visualise. But we want to do that with minimal damage to the
but that may
interior.
change. We may
Yeah,
get
we
to
may
a point
end up
and
stripping the whole inside out.
Tea's ready.
it's not.
Thanks, Jack. Tea's ready.
And Jack's made tea. Well done, Jack. Thank you.
Absolutely reeks.
Good system going on. Andy's pumping the bilge into the toilet. Tim's flushing the toilet.
Right, there's a pinhole in this pump. You have to get it.
Put your
You have to
finger
put
over.
your finger in.
Little pea.
Right, Melissa, you take over on
Make
that
this
pump. I'll take over on this pump. Okay. It really is just a pipe. That grey pipe there comes from the shower tray. Yeah, it's not too bad at all, is it? Don't want to get my hair in it. Ew, ew, ew.
So the only way you can do it is by taking
I'll take these two out as well and then whack it in a hard separate them. I might be able to do it, if we drill these out. I could probably borrow.
it's got to come off, isn't it?
Yeah. It went together, isn't it?
Well, no. Did it go together, or was it all came?
Well, at some point somebody was
Well,
put
at some
together.
yes, of course, at some point.
If I can rotate this, we can get the sail out. Oh, God, please, right? That's bloody heavy.
It's at that.
No, I think
No, that's
no, because this has got to turn on the spring. Help get it down.
The wind's coming from the right direction.
okay.
Just tie
Take it that
tie a
way.
rope onto this so that if it just goes, it cleans it.
Okay.
That's kicked over.
It's gonna get a bit fluffy.
Yeah.
Fluffy yourself, fluffy yourself.
So right this minute they're pulling out the sail. So they can check it and I think bring it home with us. I'm worried it might fly away. Oh.
It just came down by itself.
Oh, I wonder what Timmy's laughing at.
Shackle here, sheared off the halyard,
Oh my.
so the whole sail fell
Wait a
down.
second, is that half of it?
Yeah.
Screws here. If I can separate it here, if I can get this off and take it home and make it work.
Go.
So that was easy, wasn't it?
Fairly.
Unexpected ending.
I mean, it didn't have much problems coming out. It's only that's
All we
causing the
need to
issue.
do now is try and get off the broken.
No, well, the mast will be coming down, so we'll.
Oh, didn't we get rid of the mast?
No.
Now, it might be a case of drilling these rivets, but if I can undo.
I'm going to go inside.
Yes, good idea.
Have something still.
Yeah, it's just absolutely full of water.
It's a bit concerning.
Which is a weird going feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to take off the inmast furling system, which is where the mainsail goes inside the mast. It's actually an aftermarket one that bolts on, but that's all corroded, so it's probably fine, but it probably just needs taking apart. It's just full of salt and grime and I think cleaning and greasing and putting back together. Yeah.
This is Tim.
Hey.
He helped Dad sail Miss Rosie back to Pwllheli.
Pardon?
Yes.
What did you say?
What is this one?
Mould. Good work, Jack.
Well guys, that's the end of today's episode. I think what have we done today? Well, we have stripped out the toilet, the head from the head, yeah, and we've just stripped back that red wire which is to the bilge pump for the holding tank. The holding tank's now empty and is relatively clean. Jack's just packing up his stuff to leave. I'm going to start packing up my stuff to leave. Melissa's packing up her stuff to leave. What else have we done? Oh, we've made a start on our to-do list, and the Jabsco toilet is ready to take home, and we've started thinking about possible options for refitting the forepeak, because the bed in the forepeak is long enough on one side but not on the other, and that's it really.
Or swap me for a shorter wire.
Yeah, No, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Yeah, that's it. We've cleaned most of part of the bilge. There's a lot to do. See you next episode. Bye. Say bye, Jack.
Bye. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please leave us a comment and click the thumbs up to give the video a like. And if you didn't like the episode, please tell us why in the comments. You could do that during the ad at the end. Thanks again to these people for supporting us, and we also like to welcome aboard our new patrons. John Bruce, William Chaplin and Michelle Maddox.